Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
A good day again, viewers, and welcome to another program, Agriculture on the Move. My name is Phillip Sydney. Today we are discussing the role and functions of the Agricultural Engineering Services Division, a very important division attached to the Ministry of Agriculture. You may not hear of them, but they are there in the background working very hard to ensure that the agricultural sector is well protected. With me in studio are three gentlemen, and to my immediate right is a young man who is not new to our television, that is Mr. Kwesi Goddard. He is an agricultural engineer, and his responsibility is into land resource. Next to him is the head of the unit, who is the overall supervisor, Mr. Faustinus Monero, who is also an agricultural engineer, and his responsibility is in mechanization. Mr. Quint Odlum, of course, is well known, and he is an agricultural engineering technician, and he has responsibility for irrigation. Gentlemen, good day.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yeah. I would like to start with you, Mr. Monero, as the head of the unit. A lot of people out there, probably hearing about the engineering division and whatever over the years. But I don't think they are quite aware of the role and functions of that division. So take us through that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sydney. The Agricultural Engineering Service Division is one of the many divisions of the Ministry of Agriculture. You have the Extension Services Division, you have the Propagation, you have the Research Division. Each one of them have their specific role. Our intervention is specifically to help with the engineering aspects of agriculture. I guess at the time the engineering was coined, the engineering division was coined, was to deal with the issues that arise from production in terms of adaptation of technology, in terms of proper use of the technology, and in terms of sustainability. Because you can have the farmers doing the things, but they might not be doing it with that level of consciousness to protect the environment or to preserve the environment for future use. So the engineering division was really to embrace all those things, to provide support services or technical services to the agrarian community, and at the same time support institutions, support projects, and so on. And because of that, it has a structure. The engineering division has a structure to, of course, achieve its mandate. We have the Mechanization and Technology Development Unit, then we have the Irrigation or Water Use Unit, and then we have the Land Resource Management Unit. Each unit has specific roles, specific functions that they have to accomplish and to provide those services so that the farmer could maximize his production, so that the farmer could be given the best advice in terms of, preserving the environment so that our future generations could use the land, could use the water that is available, and so on. In the process of all of that now, you find that a number of factors have influence. So you're talking about climate change, you're talking about a number of things. So our service have to be tailored or to be readjusted to embrace those factors like climate change and so on. Right now, whatever we think of doing must take into consideration of adaptation measures in terms of, what is the best crop, what is the best method of irrigation, whether we use rainwater harvesting, whether we use drip irrigation, whether we use resistant varieties, all of these things. And in addition to that, we just try to give the best advice to the farming community and, of course, the projects. So I have a team with me which is supposed to be the irrigation, the land resource, and myself, the mechanization. And so we move forward trying to provide the best services for the farming community. As to whether they are aware of that, I think that is a problem. As to whether the accessibility, the effectiveness of getting that message across and them responding and getting that service, I think there is still a problem. So that forum would help and would improve. Because when I walk around to see, you might not be aware of the amount of wrong things that are still being done, right? Farmers believe that they could just come together and join pipes and, have an irrigation system, or just take a tractor and bulldoze a land and it is okay. But no, we're saying that these things are science, and we are the authority. We're supposed to be the authority to direct and ensure that the body of knowledge, the practices are correct. And so I have, like I said, a team with me, and to help in that. In addition, I'd like to also say, as the needs of the farming community changes and as new situation arises, we also try to adapt. For example, recently we have brought in biogas. It's an old phenomena, but that is something that is needed in order for we to ensure that the waste from those pig farms do not get into the river. As we talk about sustainability again.
And they are maximized.
And maximized. The waste is maximized in terms of, gas for things. So our specialist here on biogas is Mr. Odlum. I'll leave him to handle that. Okay. But just to give an idea that we keep, integrating the needs of the farming community as the process goes on.
If I get to Mr. Quint Odlum, I think I'll touch with Mr. Goddard as far as the land use, land resource management is concerned. To give the public, an idea of what is land resource management.
Well, land resource management, land and soil. When you look at land really encompasses a lot of things, right? Land also, apart from the soil, it encompasses the biological or the ecosystem on the land, like in terms of trees, animals, what kind of things live in that land area. So when you talk about land use and management, right, you want to look at, especially now as we get into being more conscious about how we deal with our environment. We want to keep our environment alive for at least 1,000 generations. We're looking at sustainability. So when we talk about land use management, we're looking at appropriate agricultural systems on that land that would allow it to be productive into that time, into that future, right? So we're not only thinking of meeting our necessities, our immediate necessities, but we're also thinking of maybe improving, enhancing, the potential of the land to support future generations.
Great. Quint, give us an idea of what you do as far as your irrigation systems are concerned. A quick overview, and then we'll get on into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, well, as it was indicated, I work with the irrigation section, and we are responsible for providing technical advice to the farmers as to what we think is the most appropriate irrigation system for each individual farmer. But as Mr. Monero indicated, it's also appropriate technology. All right, so we look at what's the most suitable technology for this farmer's situation, and we advise them in terms of irrigation and appropriate technology.
Okay. And so that takes me into the next section in the sense that this forum, as Monero said earlier, is an opportunity to let St. Lucia know, the farming community know, that those services are available. I don't think many farmers know of the services that you offer, and I think beyond here, I don't know what it is that we can do to get them to be more aware, of the services available and the need for them to know, because like Kwesi said, we need to maintain our resource for the future generation. We're just about going into our first break, but Monero, I'll come back to you because I need you to tell us a little more about the mechanization aspect of it. I know some farmers have made use of the tractors and the plowing and other tilling, aspect of their land. But I think they need to know more new farmers coming on board. Especially we have the YEP program coming. I know those youngsters need to know the technology that's available, and of course to adapt to new technology. We are due for our first break. You're watching Agriculture on the Move. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon.
Did you know that government provides duty-free incentives on farm machinery, inputs, irrigation systems, boat engines, boats, and many more? Investing in agriculture, a wise choice.
Welcome back to the program, Agriculture on the Move. Monero, we spoke about mechanization. In the past, I know farmers made use of equipment for plowing, and I think now, the farmers realize it is a service that is required more so now, and they don't know where to get it. So can you give us an idea of what program you have now available for the farmer?
Yes, Mr. Sydney. Land preparation is a key thing in agricultural production. And it can be very costly, it can be very time consuming and so on. And the ministry, realizing that, have decided to offer that service again. It was been offered in the past, but there was a lull, it was scrapped off. We still kept that unit, mechanization unit, but not offering those type of service. But right now we have acquired a fleet of tractors, small implements and machines that could allow us to offer that service once more again. So the farming community should be made aware that that service is available as we speak, right? What is normally done, we come in and assess the place because we need to know that the place could be plowed, first of all. You do not have too many stones, and we'll advise you how to prepare the place, right? And then after we have done that assessment, we would determine which is the most suitable tractor, which is the most suitable implement that could be used to give you that type of land preparation unit. Because the first step of a good crop production is a well-prepared soil. If that soil is prepared properly, then you ensure, you almost 40% ensuring of a good production. Starting after your fertilization, your irrigation would bring you up to the 90-100%. All right, so that service is presently available, and farmers need to know that. Right, that they could call us through the extension office, and we could come in, do the necessary assessment, and then decide as to the way forward with them. Of course, there is a fee because you have to maintain that service, right? We cannot go back to the government asking for example, money to buy fuel for the tractor. In the past, it was more or less a free service, more or less. And you know, when it comes to machines, you have to maintain them, you have to buy the oil, you have to change parts, and parts are very costly.
Pay the operator.
Right, you have to pay the operator as well. So it is not anything exuberant and compared to what is out there, but it's something that we're working with the farmers. We're still in the process of working, you know, what is the best pricing scheme. We have certain prices in mind, but we work with them and try. The objective is not to make a profit, but at least to provide a service, to see them into production, and to make sure that they're capable of producing, and of course to make back their contribution to maintaining of the fleet of the equipment.
Okay, where are they able to contact you?
Okay, through the extension office, right? Because each farmer would be would have an extension officer as his officer,
advisor,
right?
Yes.
As his advisor. So the extension officer would more or less be the frontline person. They would go and the farmer would say, well, look, I have half an acre or an acre that I need to establish in potatoes or in tomatoes, and I need that service. So the extension officer can contact, he knows our contact us, and then we can set up the officers to go and assess, and then we can provide a service. Or he can, if he knows the engineering division, we can give the number later, he can call direct to the engineer, but would rather him go through his extension officer, would take certain information, have a certain level of information about him, and we can discuss it with the extension officer and actually work through with the extension officer.
All right. Now the farmer's soil is prepared and he needs to go into in production. He wants to go into greenhouse. He wants to establish irrigation. Quint, how do you come on board?
Yeah, well, as Mr. Monero indicated, St. Lucia divided into 8 agricultural regions, right? From region 1, go right around to number 8. So depending on where you are in the island, you're supposed to have an extension officer providing you with some kind of advice. So you would get in touch with your extension officer, and he in turn would make an appointment with the engineering department, and one of our officers would be dispatched and go down to visit the farm and provide all the necessary advice which is required. The advice is free of charge. So don't be scared to call the extension officer, and through the extension officer is the best way to get in touch with us. As Mr. Monero indicated, you can get in touch with us through the engineering department at the Ministry of Agriculture. But I think it's more professional and it's the right thing to work through the extension officer, because we come in and we provide advice, we assist with the installation, but the extension officer is the one who relates to the farmer on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
So we basically come in and provide a service and most likely step out, where the extension officer is the person on a day-to-day contact with the farmer.
Do you prepare or assist in the preparation of proposal? Say he wants to get a loan from the bank. How do you come in?
Okay, we first visit the farm and we do a farm assessment. And as anything else, we would provide the technical information, which would be a design for the irrigation system, accompanied with a list of materials, which would enable you to go ahead and install. We also assist in the installation. We don't install, but we are there to see to it that it's done the right way. All right? So yes, we don't actually provide costings because we don't sell materials. So what we would do, we would give you a design with a list of materials, and you would have to source your materials more or less wherever it's available. But we don't sell materials, so it's difficult for us to really provide a costing.
And can you safely say that those materials are available?
Yes,
Readily
we try
available?
to design the system bearing in mind what materials are locally available, right? But if the farmer wants, he could import his own system, because some of the irrigation systems are what we refer to as computerized, they're high-tech. You could program your irrigation system to deliver the amount of water you require to stop at the time you want. So if you want to order a timer or a programmer, we could also advise you in that line.
Okay, so that's irrigation. What's about, I know you've been involved in other systems, biogas, designing and stuff like this. Could you take us through that?
Okay, as was indicated, appropriate technology is what we more or less we into. Now, with the biogas systems, we've had a problem where our waters have had problems with contamination, E. coli and coliform. And we think that a big contributor is the animal farming, not only pigs, but animal farming. As long as contaminated water reaches the river, it's a problem. So we came in with the idea of biodigesters in connection with the vet department, because they're the main people, as we say, they are the extension people visiting the farmers. So it's the same procedure. We would visit your farm and see if you have the right conditions which will allow you to establish a biogas digester. Now, just for those who don't know, a biogas digester is basically using animal waste to provide cooking gas, right? But that's one aspect of it, the production of cooking gas. But there's also a very big environmental impact, right? The contamination of our river waters and our groundwaters. We working hard to try and prevent that. And that's why we're thinking that the biogas digesters can come in and make a big contribution in helping with the water pollution situation. You also, it's three benefits from that one digester. You get your cooking gas, you clean up the environment, and you also have what we refer to as compost or organic fertilizer, both solid and liquid. So there are many advantages to the biogas digester. It's a little too much to discuss right now.
I know. But can you safely see that farmers are gravitating to that?
Yes, we have established 7 functional digesters.
Okay, well, hold that point. We're going to another break. You are watching Agriculture on the Move. We're due for our second break. Back soon.
There are many opportunities in agriculture, and broiler production is one such enterprise. For further information, contact the Veterinary and Livestock Division at 468-5621.
Welcome back to the program. Yes, Quint, we're talking about biodigesters, and I don't think it's very new. I've been there for a very long. I know farmers like Mr. Augustine up in the Bois-d'Ange area have had this huge, constructing stuff, and then now you're moving to the adapting to the smaller size ones. Yeah. So how are you saying that there are a lot of farmers coming into that now?
Okay, a few years ago when if we could say the pork was on a boom, when pork was selling all over, we had a few more pig farmers. We still remain quite a number. So far we have established about 7 functional digesters. Even at the prison, the Bodily Correctional Facility, they have one at the moment. But I cannot guarantee you that they are all still functional, because we service the entire island, and it's difficult to visit all the farmers on a daily basis. But it's technology which has been proven. It's what we refer to as appropriate technology. We would design the digester according to the size of your pig pen, according to your requirements.
Okay. Okay, Kwesi, back to you, because I think all what we're talking about, if our land use is not looked after, then it makes no sense talking about mechanization and what Quint is talking about. I know we had the forestry department attached to the ministry. Now it's with another ministry now. But the angle you're taking, are you working in tandem with them? Because we're talking about, the maintenance of the forests, reforestation, avoiding the denuding of the forest and so on. Take us through that.
Well, like Mr. Monero was pointing out earlier, you find nowadays the ministry has been really using an interdisciplinary approach, especially in the area of projects. And you find in these projects we normally liaise and touch base with different professionals from different backgrounds, whether it's from forestry, civil engineering. For example, there's a project right now, the Ayanola project, that looks at the conservation of ecosystems on the northeastern side of St. Lucia, and you find you have a whole set of us working together. Forestry is on board, but forestry and agriculture really and truly there's
hand in glove.
It's just a matter of policy and approach, right? But basically, even in relation to sustainable land use, you find where land is being used in agriculture are on farms. So looking at sustainable land use is always good. Before you go into production, that's the ideal. It doesn't always happen. But before you go into agriculture production, you actually contact your extension officer, and he gets in contact with the relevant people, for example, ourselves, to know what is really the potential of your resource. Because what you find is that, for example, a farmer like Mr. Monero is pointing out may just use a backhoe and start bulldozing a land or something, and then afterwards he calls us, and then you find our intervention, especially from the aspect of land resource, it may be too late. He may be planting going down the hill instead of going across the contour, where before we could have probably advised him and tell him, well, you know what, in your farm you have this type of soil, or you have that type of slope of soil, so you better to have this kind of system of agriculture in that area. And then you could go ahead and have a land use management plan before you actually start, or before you start doing too many things. Now that you could look at even the economic viability of that in relation to how really and truly can you implement that. So based on the farmer's resources and his objectives, and even aligning it with the objectives of the country, because the country has its policy objectives with land, which is to preserve the productive and the fertility capacity of the soil over time. That's the country's policy, and you find we are some of the organs that actually are responsible for carrying out country policy. But then to make country policy really impactful, we go on the level of the farmer, the level of the farm, and his use of his soils on his farm.
So the ideal situation then is, before he even think of doing anything, the land use should be looked at first.
He looks at he tries to get in contact with his extension officer, and his extension officer with us, or come straight to us, and then we do an assessment, as to what is the best situation, because you have runoff water, you have erosion. Sometimes a farmer is farming on a piece of land up here, and what he's doing, any runoff or any landslide or anything affects somebody below. They may have houses or stream or waterway. He may be fertilizing indiscriminately, and then he might cause a little contamination of soil water, which will go to the river, like Mr. Quint was saying, and maybe upset the river ecosystem.
That's right.
So you have to look at all these things in conjunction, as we can say that you can't really solve any problem from only one standpoint. It's right now the world is moving towards interdisciplinary. We each have an understanding of each other's field. Some more than others,
Yes.
because of experience,
Yes,
But at the same time, we have an understanding and appreciation so that we can, approach problems through a more jointly effort.
Great.
So we could help the farmer to achieve his production potential.
Beautiful. But Monero, one of the things I think which is very, farmers need now, and we've been hearing over the years, like I said, is the mechanization aspect of it. You mentioned about it a while ago. In terms of the availability of this service in the north and in the south of the year, how strategic is that? In other words, how easy, in terms of accessibility, the farmers can get the services of your unit in that regard?
At the moment, the key constraint is transporting of the equipment. The equipment, we have some at Bosejo, right, and some at Maboya. But say, for example, if a farmer wants plowing, for example, in Babuno Maki, for example, how do I get my tractor from Babuno, from Bosejo to Maki? And that is an issue, right? So it involves a cost. We'd have to put that tractor, for example, on a lowboy or some trailer, and that would increase the cost. So we're looking into those things, trying to see what's the best way forward in terms of whether we should get a lowboy ourselves or get something. But we need, the main constraint right now is the transportation of those equipment from one place to there, because we cannot have a tractor in each region. It is costly. I believe we have a fleet of 4 tractors, and I believe it can serve the island. What we need to find is the proper way of getting them
from point to
point
B.
Okay. And one of the strategies, as we have designed, is to say, for example, get all the farmers, say, for example, in the region 3, which is Denry Mabuya, right? How many farmers want to plow? Okay, let's say 6 farmers and 4 acres or 5 acres. So we bring that tractor. It spends 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks in the valley, and we do all the plowing in the valley.
Okay.
You understand? So we try to work around it, but ideally, if we could get some means of resolving that transportation problem, then it would be good. Okay,
we're just about to end. Just give us your final words on that and how they can contact you, your unit.
Our unit could be reached at 468-5615. That's 468-5615. That's the Engineering Service Division, or through the extension, and the extension would link us. Okay. All right, and we have many other services like pond construction, which we did not talk about. Right. We have gravity systems, rainwater harvesting. We have drainage systems that we also provide assistance with, because all those things are needed in farming, and farmers need to know that they could get and benefit from those systems.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, I would like to thank you all for being here. I mean, the time has crept on us. I know there's a lot, but I think the farmers know what to do now. They can face you all, facing the extension officer. So, Kwesi, thank you. Monero, thank you. And Quint, thank you. And I wish you success, and continue to give that service to the farmer so that he do not get despondent, because the thing is, he needs to get that service immediately when he needs it on time. So I want you all to bear that in mind.
Right.
You have been watching Agriculture on the Move. I would like to thank you, the viewers, for viewing the program. And you, the farmers out there, the services of the Engineering Division is available to you. So please contact them, contact your extension officer in the various regions for that service. It's available now, and I'm hoping that you'll make full use of that to increase your production and to increase monies in your pocket. I'm Phillip Sydney saying goodbye and see you again.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole Mouvement.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole Mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.